Yeah, it's in the olden days, right? I also want to just admit that Eric has me sent my picture in 6 months before the conference. Look a little older now. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to talk about purpose-driven social media posts, who, what, why, when, and where. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about who am I posting for, who is it, who's my demographic, how do I figure that out. We're going to talk about what you should be posting. We're going to be talking about when and where should I be posting. And then also, let's discuss why we're doing all this extra work, because we've got enough to do with taking care of guests, and at the end of the day, we're exhausted. The last thing we want to mess with is social media, right? And then we're going to talk about some tips and tools. So let's get started. Well, I just want to do a kind of a quick survey. Who is really active, like posting three times or more on social media right now? A week. Good. Who is doing about one a week, like less than that? Okay, good. And most of you on Facebook, big hands on Facebook, and Instagram? Perfect. Anyone doing TikTok yet? Doing TikTok. Susan, you're doing TikTok. Have fun. Excellent. All right, let's jump in. So let's talk about who I'm posting for. So I have a few quotes in here. Social media enables a small business to earn eyeballs and ears, which I think is very true. Identifying your audience. Who are they? How old are they? Where do they live? What do they like to do? Are they single, married? Do they have kids? Do they have pets? What problems are you solving for them? And are you trying to reach a new audience? So talking about this, let's talk about who the audience is. So you probably know who your clients are. You probably have a pretty good idea of the age group and the types of guests that you're getting at your property. So what I found is that when I survey our clients, it's interesting because when I look at the stats in Google Analytics, and in your Google Analytics you can see the demographics of the people that are coming to your website. And 28% of them are in the 25 to 34 bracket, which is kind of that young millennial. Then when we look at the 35 to 44, we're at 18%. So our 25 to 44 demographic is nearly 50% of the traffic that I see coming to our website. Okay? So putting that in mind, they're the people that are kind of not wanting to pick up the phone as much. They don't want to really talk to you. They're doing their research online and looking at multiple different websites. They're also the crowd that's on Instagram. They're also the crowd that's on Facebook, but not as strong as on Instagram. This is a really strong Instagram crowd. Then when we get kind of up into the 65 plus, we're at like 9%. So while sometimes the properties look like you're skewing towards an older audience, what the demographics are showing in analytics is less. So with that being said, you want to be thinking about the types of stuff that you're posting resonates with that age group and with those people. So if you take families at your property, you want to be posting pictures with families and kids running around. If you take pets, you want pet pictures. If you're more romantic and just couples, then we get, take those pictures with some couples in them and things like that. So the type of stuff as to what you should be posting. One of the things I want to mention about social media is content is like fire, social media is like a gasoline. So social media is just that. It's a branding platform. If you think of it, I don't see in analytics that we're getting thousands and thousands of dollars, like $20,000, $30,000 of bookings through Facebook or Instagram. But what it is it's an awareness place. So when you're posting on a regular basis, you're keeping yourself top of mind of people's thoughts, right? So it's just like an event like this, except it's online. So you're communicating with people, you're talking to people. One of my clients the other day I just saw had a guy contact her through Messenger. It's giving people a way to speak to you in a way that they want to communicate with you. So like I said, they may not pick up the phone, but they might send you a message on Messenger. So I highly recommend, if you don't have some kind of chat feature on your website, if you can turn that on and you can manage it, then I would recommend it. So this one client, she got a message the other day. It was a guy who was asking about groups, and he just messaged her through Facebook, through Messenger, and then had this conversation. Because I'm on their business, Facebook business plan, I can see this coming up on my phone. I just happened to have it turned on at the time. And lo and behold, the guy had her hold some dates for a reservation for a large group, for a complete buyout of the property. And that all that communication was through Messenger. I saw the whole thread going on. He never picked up the phone, she didn't call him back, anything like that. The whole transaction ended up going through Messenger. So be aware of that. So thinking about how we put together what we post, one of the things I recommend is wherever you are, take lots of pictures. Take lots of pictures on your phone all the time, and then download them and put them on your computer into folders. So if you're talking about a hike on the local trail, you don't have to go out and drive and go get some pictures of that hike, because the last time you hiked it 2 months ago, you took a bunch of pictures. So I highly recommend just become kind of this person that takes that, obnoxious person that takes pictures of everything, right? With kids, whatever. So then when it comes to creating a content plan, one of the biggest things I find for my clients where they have a block is, well, what should I post? You know, if you're posting 3 or 4 times or more a week, or even a couple of times a day, you're kind of like, well, what should I post? What should I say? Now, be aware that not every single post comes up in the feed. So if you're posting once a week, I encourage you to do a lot more than that. If you're posting just once a week, my feed as a guest only gets to see your post once in a while. If I interact with your post, then all of a sudden your post starts showing up in my feed more. So what you want to try and do is have things that people will interact with. I've got a client, so putting things on your content plan, what we do is we put together an Excel spreadsheet, and we put together ideas of themes for each time of the month. So we'll say, okay, we're running a special this month, we're going to talk about that. It's Martin Luther King, it's Black History Month, we can be talking about that right now. We could talk about Valentine's. We could talk about, you know, romantic places in the area to get engaged, those types of things. But if you have your content plan written ahead of time, at the end of the day, or when you come to actually do some social media, you don't have to think about it because you already put it down on a calendar and you've already figured it out. There's also a number of tools, and one of the ones that we use is called Publer, P-U-B-L-R, I believe it is, Publer, and it's free. It's a social media calendar that you can use, and you can connect it to your Instagram, your Facebook, your Google My Business, your LinkedIn. I think you can have up to 5 accounts on there for free. And it's a great little platform. It's very simple, it's not complicated, and it's a content calendar where you can put your posts in ahead of time, and you can duplicate posts. So let's say I write a post for Facebook on a Valentine's package that's coming up. I can then use Publer to duplicate that post and post it to all of the other places I want it to go, and I can move it around on the calendar so they get posted on different days. So all of a sudden, one action I took gets me posted in 4 different accounts just by duplicating and repeating it. So I highly recommend that one. There are others like Hootsuite and some other programs, but you have to pay for those after a while. Publer, P-U-B-L-R, Publer. P for Poppy, L-E-R, is it? P-U? Yeah, P for Poppy. Take a look at that. We use that, I think it's great. So some of the things on your content plan that we put on there are things like, the obvious things like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. And for Mother's Day, Father's Day, think about promoting your gift certificates. You know, it's not just about selling and stay at that time. You can also promote gift certificates and get gift certificate sales. Talk about your discounts and your packages, and then also blogging content. So one of the things that we do that I love to do is take a piece of content and make it work for us, 5 or 6 times, so that we're not repeating ourselves. So we'll write a blog post, and then we'll post it to Facebook. We'll also post it to Instagram, put it on the website, and so we take one piece of content and use it in multiple places. So that helps save you time in creating content. It also saves, you can kind of post to multiple platforms, so I highly recommend that. For blog content, how many people are still blogging? Good, excellent. It's kind of one of those things where it was very fashionable and then it kind of went out of style a little bit, but I'll tell you, I see a lot of traffic coming to clients' websites through their blog posts, through some obscure thing that they search for. I remember I had one client on Oahu, and we did a blog post about parking in Oahu. That thing was crazy. It was like the second most visited page on his website because people were searching for that. And then we did see some bookings coming from it too. So it's about creating that awareness of your area so that people know, what's available. One of the things with blog posts that I want to say as well is that if you do a search in Google for your area, this is kind of the next slide. So if you do a search in Google for your area, like what to do in the White Mountains, Virginia, something like that, all of a sudden Google will start creating a list of questions that other people have asked. And then you'll see, where can I go mountain biking in the White Mountains? Where can I go rafting? What are the best restaurants? So if you're stuck for topics, put a search into the search engine and then see what some of the other questions are that people have asked, and then write about that topic. So that's basically how we come up with content. It's not like we sit there and we're like, what should we write about this week? Okay, I just use Google, I search for what people are searching for, and then I write to that knowledge. Okay, so let's talk about the various different social media platforms, and if you have to be in all of them. So a little earlier I mentioned that your demographic is probably 50% 25 to 45. So if we kind of think about where those people are, that's where we want to be marketing. Facebook is going to be number one. I want you all to be doing Facebook and Instagram. If you've got to pick them, they're the 2 most important ones at this point. Facebook is still popular, even though we just heard that their numbers are starting to diminish. It's irrelevant to the amount of people that are on there. I mean, there's so many people on Facebook. They also have a huge amount of millennials on Facebook, which when we look at the demographics of the website, and if you look at your demographics and you're skewing 65 and older mostly, then maybe Facebook isn't your best platform. But I'll bet that when you look at your demographics, you'll find that you're in that same bracket as most of our clients, right? So Facebook is great for the millennials. And then Instagram. Instagram has come up in the last 4 or 5 years to become also a very good platform for us to use. I do see people coming in through Instagram and commenting. What you're trying to do is get people to interact with your post. So I have a client in Hawaii. We posted a picture of the innkeeper with some chocolate-covered pineapple, which is very traditional in Hawaii. And that thing has got 1.2 million clicks on it now. Like, why? What happened? It was because it got shared a lot. Well, it went out on Facebook, and then her friends shared it, her family shared it, other people shared it, guests shared it, and all of a sudden it's got this huge interaction, and it keeps popping up in my feed. So I keep seeing it because other people are interacting with it. So when you find something like that, it's kind of fun. And people love to see other people as well. So don't make all your Instagram and your Facebook just about, pictures of your rooms or pictures of the scenery. Also have pictures of guests interacting, or you and your staff making food, doing fun stuff, because people love that. Okay, LinkedIn. So the other thing with what I see in the demographics is women. Women tend to be higher than men to a 60-40%. 60% women, 40% men on the website. So also think about who you're appealing to when you're putting those pictures up. You're kind of appealing to the women of the group because they're the ones that are doing the research before they book. But it's not as a big a gap as you might think, 60-40. LinkedIn, 50% of LinkedIn users are male. So that skews a little higher than the demographics that we see on Google. And roughly 60% of LinkedIn users are between 25 and 34 years old. So it's a younger demographic on LinkedIn as well. I post to LinkedIn for clients. I don't do a lot of effort with it, I want to say. More of our effort is spent on Facebook and Instagram. But if we write a blog post, we post it also to LinkedIn. And we do see some traffic, but not a ton. Twitter's another male audience too. So Twitter is around 29% female, and so a much higher male audience on Twitter. And Twitter's kind of that fast, quick message. But the other thing about Twitter is that they earn pretty high money. So it's a high income group. Snapchat. So Snapchat is between 18 and 29. I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about Snapchat. YouTube. I do recommend YouTube because people love to watch stuff on YouTube and they can sit there and scroll through the videos, and it's a good way to kind of engage people. So doing fun stuff on YouTube, like taking them on a hike, showing them how to make, some bread, videoing some things that are happening at your property are also good. YouTube is still the number 2 most used search engine, and it's been like that for many, many years. Google's number 1, YouTube is number 2. And then TikTok, we've got a TikTok user in the house. 18% of TikTok users are over 50 years old, but most people are, the most popular with the Gen X after Facebook, so it's definitely a younger crowd. And the thing with TikTok is I've seen a few properties on TikTok. We don't actually use it with our clients because we're spending our time where I know we can get the money. But I would recommend trying some TikTok and see what you think if you've got the time. I've seen a few properties on there, but it's pretty, blah. nothing very exciting. I think TikTok's one of those where you have to like have some kind of funny type of thing. So if that's your personality, then try it. But I wouldn't spend a ton of time on it. Okay, so when should you be posting? So this is Braden Cohen. He's a social media strategist, and he says it's best to post first thing in the morning, because that's when people are catching up with their feeds. And I have to tell you a little secret here. But when I go pee in the morning, when I get up, the first thing I do is take my phone with me and I scroll through my Facebook while I'm in the bathroom before I take my shower. So I always look at my Facebook first thing because it's just this gentle introduction to the day and I don't have to be stressing about stuff. Lunchtime is also a good time because of people on their schedules, however you say it, they're in that time. And then also right after work. So you have to think about where you're posting in your time zone as well. So, when we're posting for our Hawaii properties, I'm aware that they're 4 hours difference from me in Colorado, and so we're posting in the morning to their time. So think about that. So this was from Hootsuite. They analyzed over 30,000 social media posts to see if certain days and times got more engagement on social media than others. So here's some guidelines, but don't use these as kind of the, Liz said I must post at this time on a Tuesday, right? So take a look and see when your clients and your audience is engaged. So the best times to post on social media according to Hootsuite, after they analyzed all these accounts, is 10 a.m., Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is kind of interesting. The best time to post on Facebook is 8 a.m. and noon, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Instagram is 11 a.m. on Wednesdays. Twitter, 8 a.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. And LinkedIn, 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So there's just kind of a guideline from what Hootsuite saw. If you're fresh at doing this and you're just starting out, I would follow this and see how it goes. See if you get, a high percentage of interaction because of those times. And then adjust accordingly, because you may be in an area that really, you see more people interacting at like 5 o'clock in the evening. One of the things with the Publer app, it will actually tell you on Publer, most of your users are online during this time. So you can kind of drag and drop your post to be at like 5:30 on a Wednesday. And Publer will kind of give you those hints as to when your clients are mostly online. Publer also has analytics, so you can look at that. But take a look and see and test it out. So why are you doing all this work? Build it and they will come. Only works in the movies as a set, Godin. Social media is a build it, nurture it, engage them, and they may come and stay, which I thought was kind of great for our industry. So again, it's about that interaction. If I were to stand here and just kind of put something up and say, hey, buy my widget because it's the best, and then I walk away, you're like, okay, that's great. But there's no interaction. People do business with people that they like and trust. You've heard that in the past, right? And you can build that trust and that like through social media. So interacting with your guests, talking to your guests, and guests, I mean in social media guests, not necessarily just people that have stayed with you, but interacting with those people in social media and following them and liking their picture of their kid or their dog and saying, oh, that's so cute, builds that relationship. So social media is all about relationships. It's not about putting stuff out and just leaving it and hoping somebody might find it. So you want to keep that interaction. If you want to get like help with the interaction on your posts, talk to friends and family. Say, hey, when I put in a post, could you love it? Could you hug me? Could you send me a care? Something like that. Because they can help you. Just tell them, I need some help with this. I need you to help me with my social media. The other thing too is that a thumbs up isn't as good as a heart or a hug or some of those other icons. Because a thumbs up has become kind of the thing that everyone just presses. So my mom hearts everything I post. So if your mom can do the same, or your sisters or your friends, just get them involved, right? Sometimes she even posts. In fact, she said to me, I'm so sorry, she saw it on my Instagram that I was speaking at the conference on Facebook. And she said, I'm so sorry I can't be there to cheer you on. I said, no, Mom, it's fine. I really don't need you at that. I'm really doing this, right? No. So she interacts with my social media, but she can stay home. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the things. So brand awareness is probably the biggest benefit you're going to pull from social media. Creating that awareness. You know, years ago when we were doing print a lot more, people would say you had to interact with an ad or see an ad 7 times before you would get a sale, right? So it's the same today. I'll tell you today, the more people interact with you and the more they see your brand out there, brand awareness is a great part of social media. It also gives you more opportunities to rank in the search engines. So when I do a search on certain properties and we have an active Facebook account, the Facebook shows up when I do a search. So it's just one of those other pages that shows up that helps the property own the real estate on the first page of Google, right? So you might have your pay-per-click ad at the top. Below that, you've got your Google map listed, Google My Business. Below that, you've got your website, hopefully listed somewhere close in there. And then you've got your social media accounts. And I see that on a regular basis. So people that are posted on a regular basis, I see their social media coming up in the search engines. You also get a high conversion rate, and I do see conversions coming in from social media. You know, to the tune of a couple of $1,000, $3,000 a month usually. So they're bookings that are coming in from Facebook. I've seen them coming in from Facebook. And the way we track that is with a unique URL. So I know Lisa talks about, you know, Google and URLs and things like that. So basically, whenever we use a program called Bitly, which shortens the URL, and in Bitly you have the option to put in your URL, and then you can say what the campaign is, and then you can say, you know, what the platform is, and everything else. So what we do is we take the URL for our booking engine, Think Reservations, Residexes, whoever it is. We put it in, we say our campaign is a post. It's a social media post on Facebook, and it's the summer 20% off. So we'll create a unique URL. So instead of it just saying, you know, secure.thinkreservations / my in / on the end, you get a little question mark, and then it says, you know, the campaign equals Facebook, social media, post, type of stuff. And then when we look at analytics, we can actually see how many people clicked on that link to the booking engine from our Facebook page, right? And I do that for we do a unique one for every post. And Bitly is a free platform. You can pay for it, but you can do the free account. And it will track those for you as well. So you can go into Bitly and see, oh, you had 20 clicks on that link. But that's a good way to also help track your revenue so that you can see if indeed all this work you're putting into your social media is actually making a return on your revenue. So if you need more clarity on that, just stop by the booth and I can show you Bitly. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. It also encourages brand loyalty. When you're interacting with somebody, I know one of my clients, this one guy, he is constantly talking back to the innkeeper. I mean, he's constantly engaged. He lives in, I think he lives in Texas or somewhere, and he goes to Hawaii once or twice a year. And honestly, he talks, he like interacts with the social media all the time. And he books his trip, and he is loyal to that client, and he'll book a week's stay and stay with them because he feels like he's a friend. He feels like he knows them. And it's partly because not only do they make him feel welcome when he comes, but after he leaves, they also have this interaction with him and, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Type of stuff, you know. It improves the knowledge of your customers. So, like I was saying earlier, your clients and your customers may not know that you sell gift certificates. And if you start posting some of that in social media, then it becomes top of mind when they have someone who has a birthday or someone leaves the work or, you know, retires, those types of things, and makes them think top of mind, this would be a great gift for my friend who's leaving. So I touched on metrics, but you really want to have a way to be able to track this, because sometimes if we're not tracking, we just don't know if it's working. The other thing with tracking too is that over time you can kind of see which posts end up getting the most interaction and start to do more of those. It also improves customer satisfaction. So Messenger and, you know, being able to get in touch with you fast, you can get back to a customer pretty quick. So if they have something that they're asking you and you reply to them on your Messenger, it's good customer service. Okay, so let's talk about some tips and tools. Content calendar, I have to tell you, is the easiest thing. It really is. You just want to put up a content calendar. It tracks your previous posts. It tells you, you know, what you've got in your stream ready to go out. It collects the pictures for you, and it gives you some analytics. But having a content calendar and using it is really key. Also, when you're kind of tired and you don't know what to post, that content calendar can really help. And then a scheduling calendar along with the content calendar to be able to schedule out, you know, a few weeks of posts at a time is really nice. You may think of a post, you know, today you might see something really cute and you're like, oh, I'm going to post that to Facebook, and then off you go and do it. But behind the scenes, your scheduling calendar has created all these posts. You've put all these posts in. So if you don't have time to do anything today, all these posts start popping into your social media. And I can't tell you how less stressful it is when you're doing that. And then take lots of photos. Like I said, you know, make sure that you're taking pictures of everything. Local restaurants. Places to go, things to do, stuff that's happening in town, a parade or anything like that. Just get out and be your own kind of news person for your area. Now here's another one. We're all perfectionists. Well, maybe not all of us, but in this industry we tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist because we want the best for our guests. Don't get paralyzed by trying to be perfect. Don't think, oh my gosh, is this picture good enough? Is this, you know, maybe I should have put the bacon slightly to the left instead of to the right, right? So don't get like stuck on the minute little details. Just get those pictures up, get your posts up. Don't feel like you're posting something silly. And then using hashtags too. So go through. I actually have, what I did was I went through and I found a whole bunch of hashtags that I want to use, and I put them in an Excel spreadsheet. And so at the top, it's like bed and breakfast, honeymoons, honeymoon hashtags, romance hashtags, area hashtags. And so I have this cheat sheet of hashtags. And then when I create a post, I just look at my cheat sheet and pull them all together. So there's another way that you can do it. And then the other thing I'll say is participate in groups. So I'll give you an example. I recently joined Airbnb Superhosts because I was wanting to promote the conference a little bit and kind of talk about, I've been doing marketing for ALP and I wanted to talk about ALP. So I joined Airbnb Superhosts. And these are people that are hosting multiple properties, mostly licensed, doing a lot of different stuff. Every now and again, I'll ask a question like, where does everyone get their sheets from? And I'll jump in, I'm like, oh, we need to buy sheets from Comfy or, Twilight or someone else, right? And then they're like, who are you? Oh, look who that is. She kind of knows the industry. I've had 3 clients come in from participating in groups. So what I would recommend is if your area has a chamber of commerce or you have, things that people would research for your area and groups, join those groups and participate. When someone asks you a question, what's a great restaurant in, Colorado, in Boulder, Colorado? Then jump in and say, oh man, what kind of food are you looking for? Oh, we're vegan. Okay, here's some great restaurants for vegan. And all of a sudden you become interacting with that person. And they're like, who is that? And then they look at your profile and figure out who you are. So I can't tell you how, it's worked out for us to interact in groups. One of the things with that I feel is that as a marketing person, I can't really do that for you. That's something that I can help you with your posts, I can help you with your blogging, but that personal level of interaction is kind of your level, not a service level. Okay, so the other thing I want to mention, so we have to put our slides together way in advance, so just to let you know. And I was talking with Kristen, who has her property up in Oregon. And how many of you have, let me put my glasses on. How many of you participated in the B&B challenge? The B&B photo challenge that she puts together on Instagram every year. Anyone participated in that? So basically what they do is, in April, they put out this B&B challenge, and it's a worldwide Instagram account. And each week, she puts a topic up. Like this week, it might be coffee cakes, and people put pictures of their coffee cakes up. Next week, it might be amazing bathrooms. So if you've got great bathrooms, you put up pictures of your bathrooms. And it's this whole campaign. She gets a ton of visitors, and this whole campaign, and it's hashtag, amazing bathroom, hashtag B&B photo challenge. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And she put together a Google Doc that if you throw your business card on the table, I promise not to spam you or anything, but if you throw your business card on the table, come by the booth, I'll happily send you this document. It's got some really great tips on it for Instagram. So it talks about, having a business Instagram account and how you can set that up. It talks about, how to pick your username on Instagram, and a whole bunch of tips and tricks. It's like, I want to say it's like 5 pages of step-by-step. So if you need help with setting up your Instagram account and you would like to have that, just let me know and I'll be happy to just email it to you and share it.
Who does the photo contest? I missed who.
She's Oregon Bed and Breakfast, Oregon Bed and Breakfast Association. And it's, the hashtag is, I believe it's hashtag B&B Photo Challenge. B for Bobby, N for Norman, B for Bobby Photo Challenge. And the Instagram account is instagram.com/B&Bs around the world. B&Bs around the world. And it's BANDBS around the world. So follow her, get on her Instagram, follow her so that you can participate in that. And she's putting together the 2022 photo challenge. So if you just want to get your feet wet in Instagram and you're not doing a lot of it, so a ton of hands went up, that's a great way to start. And this document gives you really, really good tips. I mean, she did a great job on this. So it gives you some really good tips on how to get started. All right, any questions? We're down to a few questions. Go ahead.
What's your thoughts on using social influencers?
Oh, great question. Social influencers. What's my thoughts on social influencers? Okay, so if you have a property that you're book solid and you don't need any help with press, then I would say don't even bother. The social influencers, I actually put a page on a client's website and I put a link in the footer. I've got one client who was getting inundated with social influencers asking for free stays. So what we did is we put a page on the website that said, this is what we expect from our social influencers. We expect X number of posts on Instagram, we expect you to write about us in the blog, we expect you not to use our competition, you have to have 200,000 plus followers, those types of things. That clears out a lot of the fluff right there. So you just kind of say, go look at our influencer page on our website, and we also say they have to sign a contract and give us a W-9, right? So we give them all these conditions. If they are someone like National Geographic and they come calling and they want to do and stay for free, take a look. If it's your demographic, do it. The same thing with influencers. So I have a client right now who is a very family-friendly property. They just bought this recently. And we have somebody who contacted, and I have them contact me instead of the property so I can do a little bit of research. And she's a writer, a family writer out of Santa Monica. And for the amount of eyeballs she gets on her blog, she's had a blog for many, many years. She writes for the Santa Monica Chronicle and all these other things. So I wrote her back and I said, okay, this is the value of the stay. What is the value of what you can give us? Because she said that she was going to write one article. She sent me back a list of all the things she's going to post in about 4 different magazines and newspapers. She's going to write on her blog and she's going to mention us in Instagram and Facebook. Ask them what they can give you for the value of the stay. And if it's somebody who has your demographic and it's the off season and you would like to get that promotion, I say go for it. Influencers are not all bad, but you have to match them. I mean, if I had, a 19-year-old and a bunch of friends that wanted to come and stay for free, that's not the demographic of my client's property. I just say no. The lady who's in her 40s with the little girl and her husband are coming to say that's the demographic. So just watch. I'm not saying you should work with influencers, but just kind of match them to your property. Other questions?
I was just going to say, I know you guys aren't supposed to sell your services really in these workshops, but I was really like a hard to pack social media person. Like when I have time, when it was cute, and I knew we wanted to be more consistent. And I would hire a local person I think that's similar to what you do. And she really untangled like my MailChimp and my emails and what those really gave me beautiful templates for sending out promotions and then getting all the blog stuff in order and hashtags and other tags to actual other accounts that we should be using, like that spreadsheet you talked about. And then she taught me, I'm using Facebook Business Planner and I hate it, so I'm going to look at color. stuff. But it's like, if I see something really cute, I can just go and like move that post like a week away. And it was like 2 months of honestly pure hell. You know, trying to figure out how to use like Lightshop to like with my pictures, and now I'm batching everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how to do this. And I did hire somebody, and then some of the analytics were not tracking, and we just figured that out and stuff. So I'm not sure that I can afford to keep her because I'm paying her that month a lot. I'm like, I'm kind of at the like, you quarterly give me a coaching session sort of thing, but it was really worth it.
That's
because
good.
I was just, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that what happens, and if you're trying to do Facebook ads, there's a whole other area in Facebook ads. So when I recommend doing Facebook ads, and I don't do a ton of spend on Facebook ads, we usually do about a $50 spend at the most, when we boost a post or we create a post and an ad, and I track it very carefully. But when you start getting into Facebook ads and Instagram ads and figuring out your content and all the rest of it, sometimes it's good to hire somebody to help you just get things organized, like you said, creating a hashtag, cheat sheet, create a new social calendar so that you've got a year in advance of content. So that's a great point. Yeah, that's great. Good for you.
What is your opinion on paying for boosting versus an ad?
It depends. It depends on what it is. I have a client that does a lot of events. Like, she has a jazz place and she does a lot of events at her property that are outside of the bed and breakfast. She has a small restaurant and they do Sunday brunch. And we've had good success with boosting posts that are, when I see a lot of interaction with a post, that's when I'll think about boosting it. So when I see that it's starting to get traction, like, okay, here's one that we can boost that will go out to a larger audience. The other thing with boosting and with your audience is you want to try and create an audience that's like your audience. So if you have, Think Reservations or ResNexus or one of those, you can download your customer list out of Think Reservations and import it into Facebook. And it will find similar people to that. So it'll look for similar demographics. It's really creepy, but it does do that. And then MailChimp has an automated system that you can drag people in from MailChimp, from your MailChimp list as well, and find similar audiences.
For instance, looking for influencers, one influencer that was really good for us that has a very similar audience is Old House Life Michelle Bowers. Her following is about 665,000. She's in North Carolina, but she has just started a new travel page. She's been out there for about 4 years, and this thing just kind of blew up on her. She started as a volunteer, called me one night, and we talked for a couple of hours, and I said, hey, why don't you review ins? So she actually did that. Our inn was the first inn that she came to, and now she's just launched the Travel Life hyphen Michelle Bowers, and her daughter is writing blogs for that. And if you put and tag her or either send her something on Messenger, they may visit. And like, we had a post that we put up this morning. She sent me a text a few nights ago. Hey, can I send Emma to the property this morning? She's going to be at Greenbrier this weekend, but her daughter is doing most of her writing now for her own blogs, and she's coming to our property. But she said, hey, Emma would like to come and start doing some traveling. I said, of course we'll have her. So she just tagged me on a post, hey, the Travel Life is looking forward to being there. Not just picked up 40 new followers in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a really, when you can find those followers that will tag a post, and then you can ride the wave on a particular post that they tag for you, it's amazing how many new followers that are quality followers that could be in your area, or, we figured out that people that want to follow and watch old houses, they may not buy one, but they want to be you. They want to come and stay in your historic property and, experience that. So
And again, it's finding those influencers that are a good match. Because there's influencers out there. I mean, it might be fun to host Kim Kardashian, but really, are any of her followers gonna come and stay with you?
I mentioned her, because she loves B&Bs.
Yeah, so,
Some beautiful blogs on B&Bs in North Carolina that she visited, and they're branching out.
what was her tag?
It's Old House Life Michelle Bowers.
Old House Life Michelle Bowers.
Old House Life Michelle Bowers, and then the new site is, instead of Old House Life Michelle Bowers, the following on Facebook is 689,000. And then on Travel Life, she's just launched that, and the following is, I mean, she hasn't even had it up like a month, and it's already almost 9,000.
So one of the things with followers, when you're looking for how many followers people have, you want to kind of be in the middle. You don't want somebody that has billions of followers, like I said, like Kim Kardashian, because you're just kind of lost in the gossiping, right? So they want to be people that are, you know, decent amount of followers, but also I think the key is somebody who is, you know, like a similar person or talking about our industry. I'm sorry?
More targeted.
Exactly, a more targeted type of person. And there are programs out there that you can use to actually research some of these people. But, yeah. Okay, well, I think we're up on our time. Yeah, 5 till. So I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any other questions, I'm in the booth this afternoon. I'm headed back to Colorado tonight, but I'm in the booth today. So please drop by, pick my brain. I'll be happy to do that. And then let me know if you want this document from Kristen on Instagram, and I'll just email it to you. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate your time.